What's up, y'all? So this is actually making the second part, but it's not even really a part two. I guess I'm just kind of thinking that because I'm making it back to back like this. But going into it, so I'm working this nighttime job. I'm talking to this one dude, just kind of about like how just life and stuff. So I'm 31. A lot of people be like, do not believe me when I say my age, especially at this job. That's kind of funny. I get like 34-year-olds and stuff like that, 35, 36. That'd be like, what the hell? I mean, that's always kind of good, I guess. I think it's my stretchy skin. um, but I remember I was talking to them about just not, we were talking about something. I was talking about having like anger problems. I was like, yeah, sometimes I kind of do. And like, I mean, that's not a proud thing. I was like, just sometimes I can be very happy, very up, and I can be very like angry too. And I've always kind of heard it as like I had my daughter when I was 17, and I always kind of heard like when things happen in life, like your meter. Yo, my seat warmer was on. What the hell? Ooh, I'm actually getting like super hot. I go so back and forth, but so all right, so I'm pretty much saying like how I'm like, you don't always just value life. And I was like, also too, like anger would be even worse. I feel like when I didn't value life, because I wasn't scared, because I'm already like, damn, I'm kind of done with this shit. Like I had enough of this life. Like you can keep the change. Like I'm straight, and it's just not the way to think. And ultimately, like I knew I didn't want anything really bad to happen. Like I really did. That's why I'm like, all right, like let's make it quick. Something's gonna happen because I'm also not a bitch. Like, it's not going to be like, all right, like, lay down and then I'm going to shoot you in the head. And you're just like, okay. And you lay down, like, get shot. It's like, no. Like, you're going to have to work for it if you want to still kill me. It doesn't matter how in my head I am. Like, I'm going to put up a fight just because I got to let some of that anger out, I guess. I don't know. But, alright, so this is how it explained to me. When you have a kid, let's say your meter of happy and sadness, you can go from 0 to 10, from depressed to real happy, kind of. Then you have a kid, and it's like, man, now you can go from, you can go up to like 100. You can be so happy, geeked up that you never felt this amazingness in the world, and you're like, oh my god, like I have the weight of the world on my shoulders. But at the same time, like I'm getting this relief just looking at my kids smile, seeing them not have to go through this world alone, and me being able to see something kind of coming good from my life. So, and I feel like that is how your meter goes up, because now you're like, man, from max I ever experienced a 10, now I experience 100. But it swings the other way too. So now instead of hitting that 0, you hit that -0, that -100. And now it's just, it's just like, imagine when your kid don't listen to you, hey, stop, don't do that. And then they did it, they burnt their hand, they fell backwards, rolled down the hill, hit a goose. The goose got mad and started chasing them and started pecking at them. And now you over here mad as hell at them, running up to the goose, about to do whatever you gotta do. Let's say it just runs away though, for the sake of the story. And you over here like, yo, what did I tell you, dude? Like, what did I say? And you're, and then like, and you're just like, man, like, come here. Because it's kind of like you upset because you said all of that to keep them safe and they didn't listen. And just the thought of them getting hurt or anything bad happening to them like affects you dramatically, and it makes you get sad, angry, scared. And I feel like that's all that stuff that can kind of hits on the other side, because when it's not your life, I feel like you think about it a little more. It's kind of like, I was seeing this thing, it was like, would you save your cat or a stranger? And so many people are like, oh, I don't want to be rude, but I save my cat and stuff, like, and I'm like, first off, like, I'd save my cats first, but second, I would try to save the stranger, and I would risk my own life to save the stranger. But I could not sacrifice my cat's life to save a stranger, like to really save anybody, because I just feel like I can't sacrifice a life for a life would be hard for me to do, unless it's my own life, because I'll sacrifice their life for like my cat's life, and then I'll sacrifice my life to try to save their life. You know, I feel like that's just how my triangle with that would go. And you know, my point is that when I'm running around, like when I was in active addiction, like I feel like the most depressed I've ever felt in my life. Like I could feel an active depression because like you feel like you're not doing anything with yourself. So you like, oh, what is my life worth? And I feel like that's how we look at it. Like, oh, like I ain't shit because I'm doing all this to myself. So what is my life worth? Like why am I doing all this shit? What is it worth? Because I'm doing all this shit daily and nothing's happening. Like I ain't doing nothing better like I should be. When I do something better, I feel like I'm not seeing what I want to be seeing, even though it's day by day, step by step. You just like, man, I took so many steps forward, just go all these steps back. So I think that was like kind of like the hardest part, because I think the biggest thing that helped me like keep going with life is having hope, having faith, and you like, hey, today's hard. Shit, tomorrow might still be kind of hard. Next week might be a little better. A month might be a little better. A year, shit, in 10 years, we might be a little more smooth, and we can go on vacations a little more and do certain things. Not saying you're gonna live luxurious, you're not gonna work again, but maybe. And I feel like that faith and stuff kind of keeps you going. But then sometimes when you just like, man, like I don't see it though. Like how, like I don't see a world that I'm clean. I don't see a world that things are gonna be better. So I feel like a lot of that shit will get in our head, and it's kind of hard to like keep on going or stay on like the good path of things. But I don't know, I think about it as like, damn, like even though I took all these steps back and everything starts at day one, and then like I started, it's been a little over a year now of me being clean from fentanyl. And you know, it all started with day one though, is my point. And as much as I was in that depressive mood, I didn't care. I was willing to like risk my life either for my shit or just for some dumb shit, because I didn't even care, because I was like, fuck it. If something happens to me, you added butter to the bread, I guess. Like shit, life insurance is cheaper than health insurance, right? Seriously though, you know. Um, and I think at some point, like you know, you after I feel like I got kind of like off the shit, and let me show you this real. All these pigeons and squirrels and shit just running around, chilling in the street. And man, this is life, dude. You got a happiness and everything, man. I'm cracking up at this. These two squirrels are running around chasing each other. All these pigeons are just flocking around. But like, if I didn't also go through like what I did, and I just let it whatever just kind of happen in that time, because I was letting too much just be on me, and I said maybe try to think about it slower, breathe, and try to think, man, how do I really like solve these problems? And you just like, oh, I'm not trying to be sick, or you're, because I don't know, I remember so many times like in addiction, active addiction, even though you're functioning addict, you're kind of almost like, man, like if supply is not a problem, I'll do this shit forever. Like I remember kind of being like that. You know, I feel like a lot of us kind of be like that, because at one point it was almost easier to think about how I'd probably be on it forever than to be off. You know, but it all started with day one. The next thing you know, you're at day 365, and then so on, right? And you always just got to start somewhere. So, you know, maybe if I just wasn't letting all the negative cloud my mind and everything, I would have started my day one sooner. And that's not what it's about. But I also wouldn't have let all that get to my head. But at the same time, as much as like as shitty as it was and is, instead of just being an active addiction, it gave me a perspective and understanding, a value for life, a value for people. Like, because I'm like probably a little autistic, like I feel like I would have a hard time understanding that shit. Like, if it's not good for you, if you spending all your money on it and it's making your life worse, then why are you doing it? Just stop, right? You're spending your money on something you don't want to spend your money on, just don't spend your money on it. And it's like, yeah, like, you're right. that it's just really not that simple though, because a lot of motherfuckers not trying to be sick. And for the people that aren't sick, it's still a mental withdrawal in there for a lot of people. And I don't think a lot of people are just mentally strong to know, to understand like what's coming and how they could overcome it. But I'm sorry, it's just some dragged out thing and all that. I think eventually, if I keep saying these stories, and eventually I'll add more details to them, and they won't be so long. I'll be able to just give a 5 minute story instead of this long thing. But hope it gave some type of perspective or understanding. Hey, much love, and I hope just anybody that is in, let's say, an active addiction or sober curious, keep looking into it. Ask questions. Ask me. Ask other people. Look into your options. Maybe you can get to a detox. You can go to a living facility. Maybe you can, well, maybe you can fight it for a month and you can never be on this shit again. Or maybe you can get on a mat the next day or a couple of days later, and at least that will help you get off of it, so you can try to do something with yourself, and then you can work on tapering off the mat. But take it day by day, step at a time, and try to do your research, but also reach out, ask for help. I didn't at all understand what I was getting myself into. But most importantly, I didn't at all understand the ways I could have got myself out. And I think if I understood those options more, it just, it would have saved a lot of heartache, but maybe some life lessons just never would have been learned too at the same time. But much love and respect out there, all the way from Chicago. Peace out, y'all.